Welcome back to Border Battle. White House officials reportedly were putting pressure on border officials. There was a story in the Washington Post that said that they were asking to put detainees in sanctuary cities. This is from the Washington Post. The report saying that administration officials suggested the plan twice in the past 6 months, but so far it has been rebuffed and is reportedly no longer under consideration. And the White House never agreed that they'd ever even said that. Joining me right now is former acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and former ICE Director Tom Homan. And Tom, it's good to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Have you ever heard that story?
No, I just recently found out about it. I was ICE director for a year and a half, and that idea was never broached with me when I was there.
Tell us, characterize the situation for us right now at the border. What is this administration going to do about the surge and the caravans that keep coming toward the U.S.?
Well, I think the president has hit the reset button with the changing in some of the leadership. I think he's looking for fresh ideas. He wants people to think out of the box. What I think they should do, and I've had discussions with folks over there, that a couple things they can do right now. Look, if the courts are going to rule against the president every time he tries something, and Congress isn't doing anything, they haven't offered up one fix, and they're not willing to close the loopholes, then we need to do what we can operationally to create a consequence and deterrence. First thing I would do, ICE needs to get out there, do a nationwide operation, look for the single adults in the family units who had their due process at great taxpayer expense. People demanded they got the right to claim asylum. They demanded they have right to see a judge. 9 out of 10 lose their case. When they get an order from a judge, they need to be executed. The orders need to be executed. The people need to be removed, because if those orders don't mean anything, then there's no integrity in the entire system. Open the border up. And once you do that, I did that 3.5 years ago. Once they see plane loads going home, that sends a strong message. When I did it 3.5 years ago, the numbers went down on the border. I think ICE, HSI ought to increase their presence in Mexico, working with the vetted units of the Mexican Federal Police, and dismantle the criminal organizations that are moving these groups from the southern border to the northern border. Criminal cartels are controlling this whole movement. So I think we need to step up the enforcement against these cartels.
Tom, hi, James Freeman of the Wall Street Journal. Obviously want to prosecute violent criminals, but I'm wondering, as we think about perhaps maybe it's too hopeful, some kind of immigration deal where we'd have more legal immigration but better enforcement, less illegal immigration. Is there work to be done on the assimilation part? I mean, I know this is not directly your field, but I'm wondering, as we're thinking about a better way to have people come in legally, not illegally, do we need to do more to make sure people who come in are ready to embrace America and limited government, rule of law, the things we cherish?
Look, I think that's a great question, and that's one message that doesn't get out. This president actually supports more legal immigration. He's been out there saying it. Look, I'll go on record right now. As far as the DACA, if they do a fix for DACA, they can't do a fix and do a sole DACA thing unless they address the underlying reason why these people came to the country. Which I'm saying this: all these family groups coming in right now, that's your next DACA population in 10 years. So if you're going to fix DACA, then you need to have a strong response to stop the families from coming, because these are children brought from no fault of their own also. But I think the president supports more legal immigration. He's set it out there. I think the White House is working on it. And look, if the unemployment rate is going to continue to drop, we may need foreign workers. However, Congress needs to fix it, and they shouldn't ask law enforcement agencies like ICE turn a blind eye and ignore the law. Fix the law. If we need workers in this country, then the companies need to justify that to the Department of Labor and bring in workers on a guest worker program or a temporary worker program. Fix the system. But what's not acceptable is for Congress to do nothing and tell ICE, well, look, they're just not a priority, ignore them. We can't do that. We can't ignore the law. These are sworn law enforcement officers that are doing their job.
Tom, I was shocked to see that immigration officers have apprehended people from over 50 countries at the Mexican border. I mean, that number is huge. So people clearly, like you mentioned the cartels, someone is organizing this for people all over the world to know how to get to these weak portions of our border. I just don't understand how this issue is bipartisan at this point.
Look, I've said it many times. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Everyone on the Hill, their number one job is to protect this nation, protect American citizens. There is no downside on less illegal immigration. There is no downside on less illegal drugs. there's no downside on securing the border. And you're right, the criminal cartels controlling everything, and that's what, look, criminal cartels are operating with impunity in Mexico. If you look at the stats, 1 in 3 women are raped. We need to step up our enforcement of the cartels, work with the Mexican federalized, the vetted units who we've vetted already, and attack these cartels, attack them where the money at, dismantle them, because you're right. Thousands of people from Central America don't all of a sudden say, let's go to the United States and we'll form a caravan. This is coordinated and this has been planned.
So do you think it's the right move for the president to cut off aid to those 3 countries?
I think the first thing that he should do is find out the aid we gave these countries, where did it go?
Yeah.
Did it go to where it needed to go, or did people line their pockets? So, look, it certainly has had an effect, so I support the president. We need to have consequence. We need to show these countries, we're going to help you to create business and opportunities in your country, but the money needs to go where it needs to go and not line the pockets of dirty politicians.
Wow, 1 in 3 women raped at the border. That's incredible, Tom.
And let me say this. This is an ICE number. That's not a DHS number. That's a Doctors Without Borders number, a bipartisan group. I mean, these people are not politicized in any way. Right. That is an astonishing number, and we can't stand by and just let it happen. The Democrats are turning a blind eye to it.
Yeah. All right, Tom, great to have you on the program. Thank you so much. Tom Homan joining us there.